Well, Rachel, since you're the youngest, we'll let you go first. But what experience, what impacted you the most, and what broke your heart? I know there's probably many, but share a few.
Yeah. There's three things that really stuck out to me. The first thing is when we first got to Africa, I kind of thought that they would look at us like we look at them here. And I thought, they're not going to wave to me, they're not going to talk to me, they're just going to look at me like I'm different. And on the way to Eldorado, it's nothing but a dirt road and lots of grass. And the people there, they walk everywhere, so there's tons of people on the side of the road. And what I would do is I would wave to everyone that I saw, and it just really surprised me because they waved back. And I mean, these people, they have nothing at all, nothing, and just a simple wave, they got a huge smile on their face, and they show their big white teeth. And I mean, it really surprised me that they are so open to us coming over there. And that was one thing that touched me. And then another one is the first day that we were there in Eldorado, there was a store called Nakumat, and it was like a supermarket, and everyone else went into the store, and it was me and my bus driver, and we were the only two out there. And I'm really sorry. There were these two little boys that were probably not even as old as my little brother Noah, and he's 12. And I look in front of me, and these two older boys are trying to kidnap the two little boys. And I tried so hard to get out of my car. I was just like, please let me help them. I just want to help them. And my bus driver wouldn't let me because it was too dangerous. And finally, after what seemed like forever, a security guard came over because we were by a bank, and told the two boys to leave them alone. And the two little boys walked by my bus, and I don't think that I will ever forget their faces. They were so scared, and no one did anything about it. There were tons of people on the side of the road, and no one did anything. No one tried to help them. I mean, it just looked at me like they thought that it was just normal for that to happen. And that was one thing that kind of stood out. And then another thing was one of the days we went to a hospital that was for sick children, and it was called Sally Test. And I went in there not really knowing what to think. I thought that it would probably be a sad experience, I mean, of course, but got in there, and these kids were so happy to see someone. I mean, they don't get visited, I don't know if that's correct grammar, but they don't get visited a lot because their parents can't come because they have other kids to take care of. And when they saw us walk in there, their faces just lit up, and we brought them stickers. That's all we brought them. Well, not all we brought them, but that's all we needed to bring. And they were happy. They were jumping up and down. They were laughing over a little sticker. It just shows you how much we take for granted and how much that they don't have. And just by putting a little sticker on some little kid's forehead, I made his day, and it meant a lot to me. So yeah.
Thanks, Rachel. Now, I know that one of the reasons you went over was to help with HIV and AIDS and babies and just all of that situation, but was there anything else that you learned and you took away from this, Connie?
Well, There's the question I said to myself every day, and that was, how long is it going to take me to fall in love with Kenya? And it took me about 3.5 minutes to fall in love with Kenya. But it also, just as you saw today on the screen, all the injustices that are going on in our country are ever prevalent in that country also. But one of the things that really touched my heart, like Rachel said, every morning we would go to either an HIV clinic or an orphanage or whatever, and we would go to the Wally Mart of Kenya, and we would buy malaria nets or toothbrushes or whatever it was, and I would always buy food. And I would go to the car, and there was a wonderful man named David, and David was, like Larry said, he was a member of one of these tribes that had been burned out. His family had been uprooted. He tried for several hours to get to his mother as bodies were being thrown on his car to get to his home before his home was burned out. And so we talked a lot about forgiveness there. But in the mass of all of that movement of those families, whether they were killed or whether they were literally, the parents were uprooted into the outskirts of town where they were put in these camps, these refugee camps, where there were a group of children that were left there, which were of the wrong tribe. So they were definitely the street children, and they broke my heart, because you would sit in the van, and David became very good friends with most of those, and he was a man that I kept telling him, David, you have tough love. What we call in the United States is tough love. Because they would come to the car every morning and they would beg for food. But also in their hands or behind their coats or in their pants or wherever they could hide it was a little bottle that was full of glue. And the glue they would sniff, and there was many of them, there was 15 to 30 of them. And they'd gather around the truck and they'd sniff this glue. And the glue would keep them from being hungry. It wasn't that they were trying to get high. It wasn't that they were trying to do anything else. It was because they were hungry. So I would sit in the back and I would ask David for permission as he would come up and say to them, you need to go to school. You need to give me your glue bottle. And we collected glue bottles from those children, and I would give them something to eat. So you ask, they're still doing that today. You ask some of the missions that we might be able to do, and I, like Dana Hershey said on her thing, is my heart is for missions. Is there so much to do? And those children didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice to be where they were and what they are doing today. And those are the ones that touched my heart. So I've talked to David, and Larry and I have tried to come up with a way that we can start a nutrition kitchen there just exactly for these children, because no one is taking care of them. When we would go out to dinner at night, David, they knew our van, they knew they would hang on the vans and out the windows, and as we would drive down the streets and, of course, beg for food. But we would go out for dinner at night, and we would take every scrap. I'm telling you, the butter, the uneaten rolls, the eaten rolls, half-eaten rolls, whatever it was, the little bit of rice, we would pull down a dark alley. And in that alley, excuse me, because I get emotional because I can visualize it still today, but in that alley was a platform, and all of those boys, and they were Noah's age, or they were Morgan's age, or they were lots of your grandchildren's age. But anyway, they were laying on this platform in potato sacks, waiting for food, and underneath their feet were rats, climbing up and down on that wall. And they sleep there every day. So those are the ones that were the most, that touched me the most. But I know that, like I say, that's still going on today, and that's the most heartbreaking.
Thank you.